Welcome everyone to this month's Astrocolorscope. My name's Elizabeth Harper. My website is sealedwithlove.com. So the idea of the Astrocolorscope is that in a moment I'm going to pick some crystals from this bag, throw them into a circle of houses, and then read the crystals, the colors, the energy of the house, etc., specifically for your sign. I'm also going to take a bead from my bead bag just for a little extra influence of color, see what else is going on. Then I like doing things in threes. Then I'm going to pick a card from the Voyager deck for your sign, and I'm going to ask you to take a look at the card and see what you are most attracted to in the collage of images, and then ask you what that means for you. Of course, I'll read whatever I see in that card as well, so we can put it all together for your particular sign. So before we get there, we're just going to have a little look at what's going on this month. So to begin with, we have one of the big things is Mercury is going retrograde on the 19th of May. And of course, retrograde actions happen all the time. But when it's Mercury, it's like one of those big deals, isn't it? That everything starts to move backwards. So it's in Gemini, which is its natural placing. So there's a sense of, it almost feels like, okay, so I'm going to be moving backwards a little bit through this sign because I love it so much. Communication slows down when Mercury starts to retreat. But in Gemini, there's almost a sense of calming down. There's almost a sense of, you are given this time to really focus on what it is you want to say, how you want to be perceived in this lifetime, let's say, how you want to communicate with your loved ones, with your friends, with the world, how you want to write, how you want your language to be. So you might find that this is a time where you want to write, where you want to write more, where you want to journal more, especially with Mercury, because it is a planet of communication, but because it's in Gemini, there's almost that sense of double communication that's coming up. So you might find yourself just retreating a little bit more. You may also find yourself biting your lip before you can communicate with somebody, or that you want to say something to someone and they're off somewhere else, and it's a little bit more difficult to communicate with them. Of course, traditionally with Mercury, it sort of messes up with the technical stuff. So, computers and cell phones and all this kind of thing can be a little bit out of whack, and especially if we've got any sun action going on that's going to send that our way, and then of course communication will have some problems then too. We've also got around the 13th to the 15th, we've got Mars, which is opposing Saturn, and Mars is a fiery planet. It's fire and it's action and it gets things moving, whereas Saturn, it's slow, it grounds you, it makes you really think before you take action. So with these two planets sort of opposing each other, it's almost like two people. So one person saying, let's do it, let's go for it, and the other person saying, no, we need to take our time. So there's a sense with this of push, pull, and you may have difficulty with decisions, especially as that Mercury is coming up. I know Mercury is coming up before the 19th, so you get that kind of preparatory, preparing action before the actual Mercury retrograde. So with Saturn and Mars opposing each other, and then we have the Mercury coming in as well, there's a sense of this month that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make decisions, to really take action, to really move forward. So there's a lot of things that are pulling us back. Towards the end of the month, there's Mars again square Neptune, and Mars is the fiery energy and Neptune is the watery energy. But Neptune it links with your imagination, with that vision. You know, it's a Pisces energy, so we can go off into la la land, whereas Mars wants you to get moving. So there's movement in your feelings, movement in your emotions, and there's almost a sense with this of forgotten feelings. So something that's been stuffed down is going to start coming up again. This is perfect because of that Mercury retrograde, because we are going to go more inside of ourselves, communicate with ourselves, communicate with our emotions. So I can feel that coming up in me as well, which is kind of interesting. So there's a sense of, this is a wonderful month, but we're going very much into ourselves and we're bringing stuff out. And then we're going to be thinking about how to move forward. Am I ready to move forward? It's going to be a little bit slow, but there's a lot going on internally. So, okay, let's get on with your birth sign. Let's get started. Okay, Aries. So for you, you have this lavender obsidian. So, you know, obsidian is a volcanic rock. I'm sure this one has been dyed to make it lavender, because I haven't really seen any lavender obsidians. But, you know, it's very pretty. It's very beautiful. It's a glass-like vision that you can't quite see through, but there are some little pieces that you can see through. Lavender, lilac, violet, they're colours of transformation and change, but this is almost a colour of fantasy. It went into your 5th house, and your 5th house is that passionate place. It's a leadership energy, it's connections with friends and creativity. So with this, especially if you think of it as fantasy and imagination, there's almost a sense of it's Disney World time for you, Aries. There's a sense of something's going to be so much fun, and you're going to have such a great time that you're going to be dreaming about this for a long time afterwards. And it's going to bring a big change into your life as well, which is fabulous. You know, I'm looking at this, I'm getting this feeling of you changing your wardrobe as well. So you might find yourself looking in your closet, throwing things out that you don't wear anymore. And you may well start thinking about dieting as well. If you need to diet, or you wanted to go on a diet, it feels like this is a good time for that. It feels like this is a good time to change something around your body image. Interesting. So now the next stone is black tourmaline. And black tourmaline is an interesting kind of stone because it's usually about protection, and it transmutes energy. So anything negative, anything bad that comes at this stone, it just transmutes it. So it doesn't bounce it back necessarily. It takes it in and makes it formless and harmless, and, you know, takes that energy back into the earth. When I'm looking at this, you know, in comparison to this particular stone, it's so much heavier looking, isn't it? And then you look at this one, it's all light and bright and breezy, and this is heavy. This went into your 7th house, and your 7th house is relationships. Your 5th house is also a relationship energy too. So there's a sense with this of the 5th house, lots of fun, lots of playing with friends, etc. But when it comes to your love relationships, oh my goodness, there's a little bit of heaviness that's going on here. So there may be some conversations that you're going to be having this month that might be a little bit difficult, challenging. They could bring up there's almost a sense of bringing something up around commitment, grounding, stability, that kind of action. I also feel there's something going to go on in your work environment as well, where you're going to need a little bit of protection, and you're going to need a little bit more thick skin around you too. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so then the final stone is morganite. Very pretty, very beautiful, went into your 8th house. This is love. It's a soft, gentle, compassionate love. the 8th house and the 7th house, you know, there's a sense with those two vibes that you are, I get a lot of family in that 7th and 8th house with the black and the pink that's coming in. And there's almost a sense of you're going to be mixing more with people that you have to mix with, but it may not make you particularly happy. There's almost a need to mix with them. So it might not just be family, it could be work environment as well, work people, or any kind of environment where you're mixing with people that you don't necessarily gel with. It's just that you have to be there. And that's the sense with this particular stone. I get this feeling that you are in a place where you're vulnerable, you're around people that you don't resonate with, and this is saying find the love, find the place where you respect these people that are around you. You don't have to like them, but just find that place of love within yourself so that you can cope with these people that are around you. Interesting kind of energy that's coming up there. The 8th house is about death and rebirth and inheritances, etc. And when I look at this, there's almost a sense of you having your skin stripped off you. It's not a negative thing. It's something is being stripped away, and you are seeing something for the first time. And it could be about yourself, or it could be about somebody else. So the bead that came up for you, the other color, is this turquoise. This is about communication. So with this, and remember Mercury's retrograde this month, with that is saying that you are going to need to communicate with, by the looks of things, people that you are not necessarily best friends with. So it feels like it's a challenging month for you around being with people, around relationships, partnerships, etc. I can see there's going to be a lot of great fun. There's going to be some wonderful things as well as some challenging things. But this turquoise is also very creative. So this is a fabulous time to really go inside of yourself and find inspiration, writing, music, poetry, etc. Just to dig deep and connect to your creative self around communication. So the card that came up for you is fabulous. This is the Sun card. Take a look at that and ask yourself, take a look at that and just look at what is most drawing you in that card. Which image is most drawing you in the card? Then ask yourself, what does that mean? What does that mean? My stomach's rumbling. So when I look at this card, I see something that looks like a butterfly. I'm not sure it is, but it looks like a butterfly. It actually isn't a butterfly, but just there, it almost looks like there's a butterfly kind of vibe going on. So, you know, with this, butterflies are about transformation and coming out. And it's in a place that is unexpected and it's not really there. So there's a sense of this that, you know, sometimes we make up stories about our lives, what's going on, and the truth is really not in that story that we're making up. So I feel that this is saying something about your abundance. You might have an abundance story, and it may be something that is saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not receiving anything that I want, I can't have all of this stuff, etc., etc. But it's just a story. And this little butterfly energy that I'm seeing is saying you have the potential to transform that story or a story this month that hasn't been working for you and just is not the truth. Okay, that's it for this month's Astrocolorscope. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do remember to subscribe to my love letter and grab your free colour kit at bit.ly/colour kit. You can find out your true colours. Also, please leave me a comment below. Let me know if the messages resonated for you. And remember, I have my own store. I have lots of goodies in my store. This is one of them. That's store.sealedwithlove.com. And the final thing is, if you want to train with me, come to one of my play shops. I will be teaching an intuition play shop at the Omega Institute in July. You can find out more about that in my love letter. Okay, I will see you next week with the Colorscope, crystal Colorscopes, right? Lots of love. Bye.